Evening, everyone. Thank you for attending tonight. We're here for a Taos Municipal Schools Board of Education regular board meeting. Today is Wednesday, June 10th, 2026. For the record, it is 6:07 PM. I would like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Can we please get a roll call?
President Flores,
Present.
Vice President Spray. Here. Secretary Trujillo,
Present.
Board Member King,
Here.
Board Member Concha.
Here.
Item 3 is the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could please stand. We'll go ahead and lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 4 is our land acknowledgement statement. It is respectful to recognize the unique and enduring relationship that exists between indigenous people and their traditional territories. We acknowledge that we are on the historic homeland of the Red Willow people within the original territory of Taos Pueblo. This acknowledgement will oblige as a reminder of our ongoing efforts to respectfully recognize, honor, reconcile, and partner with the Red Willow people whose land and water we benefit from in this great valley today. Item 5 is approval of the meeting agenda. I did get a recommendation from the superintendent to table item 10.2 to our next scheduled meeting. Other than that, are there any proposed?
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board, I'm requesting it be added to the special board meeting on the 18th. This one in particular is voice over IP phones, and we are switching over to an entire new phone system. So the sooner we can at least review it and possible approval, the quicker we can have it in implementation before school starts for all our school sites. So this is the recommendation is that if I can have it added to the 18th special board meeting, the one that's just going to be about executive, but right before.
You said 10.2. Thank you. Let me see.
Not hearing any other amendment to the agenda, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting agenda, tabling item 10.2 to the next scheduled board meeting.
Second.
We got a second from Vice President Spray. Please call for the roll.
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes. Item 6 is public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak during public comment? If you could please state your name for the record, and just wanted to iterate that we do try to stick to our 3-minute allotted time, Mr. Halls, but I do try to be a little bit lenient, so.
Stevens Hall. I'll start out with the quick stuff. I've read 373 and 374, and being concerned about language that I am, the 5th line of the underlining on 373 refers to qualified to evaluate the condition at issue. I'm not fond of the word issue. I would say to evaluate the condition of concern. That's just me. I mean, I think issue is such a silly word. It's overused. And on 374, on the 6th line, it refers to reasonable particularity, and I would say reasonable specificity. But again, that's just me. This morning, I was listening to the radio, and I was listening to Democracy Now!, and there was an article, an interview concerning vital sea monitoring. This is a transcript. I'll give the transcript to you. It's about science. It's about monitoring the seafloor, and it's the way in which that information can be used to address climate hysteria that the Trump administration talks about. And it has to do with things like the North Atlantic Sea oscillation. I don't think that that's the right term, but if that shuts down, then it means the flow from along the East Coast to the North Sea shuts down and conditions change, but there's an article here about it. And there's another article, long-term reading in math, long-term trend report, gains in reading and math 2026. It's what's referred to as a long-term trend report. It's not something that I'm familiar with, but again, I made copies. You can pass them around, Dr. Layton, if you feel they're worth reading. I found them interesting. It talks about testing at the 4-year-olds and 9-year-olds. It talks about how they fared before and after COVID. Obviously, the 4-year-olds weren't there prior to COVID, but it tracks some of their reading from 1984 to 2026. There are about 15 data points, 15 years, and it shows a decline in reading just for interest.
Thank you, Mr. Halls. Anybody else wishing to speak in public comment? Do we have anybody online? Nobody online? Okay, so we'll go ahead and move from public comment to the consent agenda. We got 3 items on the consent agenda. Item 7.1 is approval of meeting minutes. 7.2 is renewal of Power School services in the amount of $42,041.23. And 7.3 is renewal of Panorama license with Solera extension software for fiscal year 26-27 in the amount of $49,328.50. Superintendent Layton, do you have a recommendation for the consent agenda?
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board, recommend approval of the consent agenda as presented.
We have a recommendation from the superintendent. Does the board have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the meeting minutes presented?
Just, President Flores, on May 4th, I was late, but it's not noted in the minutes.
We'll make that note. Board Member Concha was present during the meeting, but was not here for the roll call attendance.
We're gonna do them separately, right?
They're all listed under 7.1. We'll just make the note for the May 4th
Okay.
meeting minutes to capture Board Member Concha's arrival. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the note of the May 4th board meeting to capture Board Member Concha's presence. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a second from Vice President Spray. Please call for the roll.
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes, and I just wanted to commend our Executive Assistant, Ms. Gonzalez, on the meeting minutes. The formatting is very clean and they are very professionally done. Thank you for doing such a good job on the meeting minutes.
Thank you.
Item 8 is student outcomes presentations. 8.1 is our Taos Middle School Board presentation presented by Mrs. Linda Martinez, Principal of Taos Middle School. Welcome.
Good afternoon, President Flores, members of the board, Dr. Layton. I'll wait for Samantha to get it up.
You look so fresh, like you're going to the beach.
I am not feeling
like
that
to
way
look
right
like
now.
I wish I looked like
Thank
that.
you.
You look awesome. I love it. I love it. Relax. That's how you're supposed to look. We want you to look relaxed.
As long as I look, as long as I look the part.
Yeah.
We'll save that for superintendent report. We're gonna do that.
It's okay. It's okay. I have a copy of it. You want me to get it from my computer?
And we have it in our packet.
We have them.
So I did an overview of our school year. And I started off with behaviors. And I did an overview from the whole entire year from 2024-25 to 2025-26. So you'll see that the orange is this current year, the gray was the year prior. So as far as incidents going down, you can see how much the decline was in incidents and suspensions. So overall, through the whole year, it was a 32% decrease in incidents and 31% decrease in suspensions. And what we can say is that teachers, and I've said this prior, but teachers really got an understanding of how to log it into Panorama. What is a minor? What is a major? Whether they're logging it as minor, majors, or support notes, it gives us as administrators a really good understanding of what kind of consequences the student needs to have. So that's one reason why behaviors went down. Another is restorative practices. With that is the trusted adults. We've really seen an increase in trusted adults and who the kids really look to and look for help or support from. Again, with that comes relationship buildings, and then there's the sports and extracurricular school-sponsored activities. And I do want to give a shout out to community schools because they really did help with the after-school programs. They're funding the teachers to do pottery, books, boards, and brains, STEAM club, robotics, all those after-school activities that they're doing. So what I do want to point out, next year, when I start logging our behaviors, I'm not sure that we're going to see such a drastic decrease in behaviors because our teachers already know how to log now. Their restorative practices have already been put into place. So will we see a decrease? I think so, but I can't promise that it's going to be so drastic. As long as we keep going a little down and don't stay stagnant and don't go up, right? That's the big thing. The next one are iReady results. This is from beginning of year to end of year results. So in tier 1, which is proficient or advanced, we have 24% of our students in reading being 24% proficient. And if you look under that tier 1, there's a bullet there that says increased from 54 to 74 students. I think it's important that we just don't see percentages, but we see how many students actually made those gains. In reading in tier 2, we are 25% in tier 2, which is 1 grade level below, and that went from 60 students to 80 students. And then in tier 3, this is 2 or more grade levels below, we're at 51%, but it was a decrease in 13%, so decreasing from 200 students to 160. In math, we're 13% proficient, so we went from an increase of 19 students to 40 students. In tier 2, we're 30% proficient. So this wasn't a huge gain, but it was a gain, 88 students to 94. And in tier 3, we're at 57%, and that is a decrease from 257 students to 170 students. This next year, we're really excited about getting one of our teachers, Ben Ogren, who took the AIMS classes over the year. He really was excited about moving into our intervention class, Read 180. He says, I never knew what I didn't know until I knew I didn't know it. And now that I know it, he says, I'm ready to teach it. So we're really excited and are hoping to see a lot of gains in the reading classes. I mean, in reading, the reading scores.
Mrs. Martinez, the AIMS, could you elaborate?
AIMS is secondary for, so the elementary does letters, and AIMS is the secondary portion of it. Melissa, can you talk a little bit about AIMS? Or it's not you, is it? It's Mary.
I was just wanting to get a little bit more clarification on what that is.
It's literacy training.
Literacy training?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes.
Board
So-
Member King, you have a question?
How's the acronym spell? Is it AI?
AIMS.
Great.
Okay, the next one is our lifesavers. I know that Ms. Spray had asked for me to dive in a little bit more about this the next time I gave a presentation. So I know I've put it in my board report, but this lifesavers course that Ms. Christina Matis and Nurse Benny teach our students, it not only opens up these avenues for our students, but they come out feeling so proud of themselves and really, really understanding the need to be first aid and CPR certified. There's a list here of everything that they are certified, that they get to get introduced to, starting IVs, checking blood glucose levels. They do that on the staff volunteer, and they go in and actually check our blood. They become adult, child, and infant CPR certified. They know how to use an AED. They know how to administer an EpiPen and Narcan. They know how to suture wounds, and not necessarily with a needle, but with Band-Aids. Provide first aid and splint injuries, stop the bleed, and even run a full emergency response. Beyond the skills, they are student leaders, role models, and young individuals committed to serving others. This next year, when we do have this, I encourage all of you to come to our pinning ceremony. So they get pinned by a registered nurse, showing them the importance of what they've learned.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick comment to everybody. I did go to this and it was unbelievable. And the choices that they're making when they go on to college or go on to nursing school or whatever, they're all having to do with healthcare
Yes.
and stuff that they've gotten excited about through doing this. And I believe that Nurse Lisa Baker started the program.
It was actually Nurse Benny, and they
Oh,
did.
it was?
It
Yeah,
was
she
Nurse
worked
Benny,
with her, yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, it was the kids, there were kids showing how to do CPR on infants, not real ones, but dolls. But
Yes.
I mean, it was unbelievable to me, the things that they were learning, and mostly how excited that they were
Yeah.
to continue in the health field later.
Yes.
It was incredible. I think anyone, if you go, you'll love it. You'll have a great time. It's really a very positive program. And
Thank
that's why I
you.
wanted you to bring it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then if I
Thank
could
you.
just add to those comments, I believe nationwide and even in the state of New Mexico, there's a shortage of medical professionals. And by opening or allowing this opportunity for our students to get introduced to the field, I think is very important. And hopefully a lot of these kids will go to college and get into the medical field.
Right.
Thank you.
And some want to be EMS, some want to be NICU nurses. They all have a field. There was just a couple of them that didn't really know if they wanted to go into the medical field. But out of 25 students and just a couple, that's pretty good.
And last year, there were more than 25 that wanted to
Less.
get in.
There was less. So
There was
this year,
less.
they added, I believe, 6 more students because they wanted them to be the leaders to teach the
Oh, that's
incoming.
great.
So they were second-year students.
That's great, because someone had told me that only 17 could fit
Yes.
in the year, and you
Yes.
had 25 apply that year. Yeah, that's great.
The next one is our STEAM and Science Fair. So overall, I know that you've heard us talk about the electric cars and STEAM Club and Science Fair and making it to regionals and to the state science fair. So these are just a few pictures that I just wanted to highlight that again. I don't want to go over them because they it's been repetitive, but I just wanted to highlight them and make sure that you guys remembered all that they did. The next one is the National Junior Honor Society. Dr. Bryan sponsored it this year, and she created some service learning opportunities for our students. One of them is that middle picture where you see all the canned goods. They helped community schools bring in canned goods throughout the school. They had kids bring in their own, and then they had a competition between advisory classes. We had 42 students inducted this year. I think last year we only had 15. So 42 it's a big deal. It's a wonderful tribute to Dr. Bryan and how she felt our students, where they stand and how they needed to be recognized. She really pushed for these students to apply to be in it. The next page is about athletics. So I just wanted to point out how many students we had participating in athletics and for every sport that we have. But with all of that, we had 3 state champions. So the 3 that are on the top, Ava, Mariah, and Haley, they were varsity cheerleaders. So they got state, they won state with the high school girls. We had 100 charter athletes. Oh, that's wrong. That's supposed to be Taos Middle School. 100 Taos Middle School athletes, 19 Taos High School athletes, and 67 charter school athletes that participated at Taos Middle School. The next one, so this one is really exciting because I'm not too sure that the community knows what Towson Middle School is doing for our students. But Dr. Bryan taught Algebra 1, and in order to receive algebra credit at the high school, they had to take the 8th grade PSAT. Out of the 24 students that she had in her class, 20 of them passed it. So they will be getting algebra credit. And not only did 20 of them pass it, but Marcus Lopez, who's our 8th grader, had the highest score in the county. So that is exciting. Yay. And 8th graders are required to take Spanish 1. Well, not all 8th graders, but the majority of them are required to take Spanish 1. And in order to get credit for the high school, they have to pass the Avant test, and they also have to get a C or better in the class. So they can't just have one or the other, they have to do both. So out of 65 students, 53 will have earned Spanish 1 credit and be going into the high school being able to take Spanish 2.
President Warren,
Secretary Chu.
oh. Is this an elective? or-
This is a required elective. So the only way an 8th grader does not take it is if they have to take TIWA, or they have to take Read 180 or Math 180. That's the only way they do not have to participate in that.
That's perfect. I was having a conversation this afternoon with someone, and I like the requirement,
Right.
but so it does occur in the middle school. So
Yes.
perfect. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So the next 2 pages or the next 2 slides are just of my staff. And I know I say it over and over, and I will continue to say it, but they are the best staff. And these are just pictures of what they've done throughout the year, the fun things, the engagement, everything that they've accomplished and wanted to. None of them have been made to do anything that they don't want to do. I always put it to a vote. If they don't want to do it, then we don't do it, because I don't want them going and doing things without, I don't know how else, without Ghana, without wanting to. So there's pictures of our end of the year rink-a-dink game and our staff skits that we did with Spring Fling. There's pictures of us getting pied by students. That lovely student in the middle is Brandon, Miss Emmy's son. He got both me and Nurse Benny because we give him such a hard time. We have pictures of 8th grade graduation and our winter wonderland and our Halloween and beginning of year activities. So the next one, the next 2, I really want to talk about. So in February of 24, I was at a board meeting at Taos Middle School, and I brought up to the board, without Mr. Neda knowing, that I was so furious about our football field. There were prairie dogs, well, you can see, there are prairie dogs everywhere. I don't know, I think I counted 75 holes at one time, and you'd walk and they were running everywhere, and it was just disgusting. By the time Dr. Layton started, I had a timeline of every time I brought up the field, every time I talked to somebody about it, I had a timeline going. And the next page, or the next slide, is what our field looks like now. And so I want to thank Marcos and Alifio and Fred and the company that you brought in to help mitigate those critters. But that's in June. They're beautiful. The field's beautiful, and when you walk, maybe you'll see 1 or 2, but there is not 50 of them. It's not disgusting. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. And having kids out there, one thing that Mr. Herrera did push is get your kids out there, have the PE classes out there, have kids walking around and getting on there. And they've really done a good job of filling the holes. There's someone out there filling the holes and make sure that it's being taken care of. Are there still spots? Absolutely, but nothing compared to what it was a year and a half ago. And then the last page is my favorite, and that is our bond being passed. So with that, I stand for questions.
Board have any questions or comments for Mrs. Martinez? Board Member King?
I appreciate it, Ms. Martinez. I have a concern though about our math and literacy.
Uh-huh.
I had someone in the community talk to me about our third graders, and obviously, we can't go back in time. Is there a reading, do we have a reading interventionist?
Yes, we have Read 180 and we have Math 180 at the middle school. We have both. But one thing is our Read 180, we didn't have one all year. It was a long-term sub.
Okay, so we need.
No, we don't need, we have one now. It's Ben Ogren. He transferred from sixth grade ELA into the Read 180.
So now he
He will start
will
now.
fill that slot.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because, as a school district, we owe our students efficiency, proficiency and efficiency, and obviously, we're teaching them skills for life. And I think it's one of those things that we can't let the ball, we got to keep our eye on the ball and the prize, just to keep, these young people able to operate in society.
Right.
It's just one of those things that I believe we really should focus front and center.
I will say that as
King,
far as,
If I may, Member King, President Flores, members of the board, I want to commend the middle school because when the proficiency scores came out from the 23-24 to the 24-25 school year, Taos Middle School had the highest increase in mathematics. And I remember the first time we had our first professional development, the summer of '24. And I'll say this because we were looking at data, and we're looking at data by school site. And I remember Principal Martinez just doing this, I don't want to see him, I don't want to see him. And this past year, when the proficiencies came out, now she wants to show them off because they did see a huge increase. So they've been working diligently to get those proficiencies up. But middle school had, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the highest increase in mathematics in 8th grade.
Hi, thank you. Did you say that you had a long-term sub all year?
for the majority of the year, we had a certified teacher and then she resigned like end of September, beginning of October. So we had a long-term sub in there. We couldn't fill it.
And Dr. Layton, does Reading Quest not work with kids in middle school? Do they only work with elementary?
Currently, I believe it's just in 2 elementaries, but I can relate, it's Enos for sure, Ranchos, and I think Arroyos as well, but it's just currently at the elementary.
Okay, and when you said that the percentage had gone up, so you're saying that last year you were talking about 2024, or were you talking about 2024?
2024, correct.
So we were below 13% then?
Well, I'll have the scores in my
we-
presentation, so I'll be able to show
The
you.
first year in, or the first year when you came in, we were at 3%. 3. Proficient.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you,
we
appreciate
were-
it.
And then
That's
you-
why when he says I went like this, I didn't want to see them.
I don't,
The scores increased to,
thank you.
But we had,
Thank you
we
for
had
that.
we didn't have a program. We had 3 teachers who were not highly qualified in math. So there was a lot of things that took place as to why that 3% was. But now we have 3 highly qualified math teachers. We have a curriculum that we're using and we're moving forward.
So in the course of 2 years, we've gone up 10%.
Actually 11%, and we'll get our new scores now this summer.
That's a significant increase. I
Mhm.
mean, of course, we want to see 50% and 100%, but keep chipping away at it.
Yeah. We'll see it.
We'll get there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other further questions or comments? Thank you, Ms. Martinez.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy your summer. Okay, moving along to our next presentation, we have 8.2 Taos High School Board Presentation. Mrs. Emmy Martinez de Herrera, our principal of Taos High School.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Layton, school board members, district staff, and community. This evening, I have the opportunity to share with you the highlights for Taos High School. And I believe you have them there with you, but we're going to go ahead and start off with celebrating our student success. And what we put front and center right there on the first page is Sam, do you
I
Do we
don't
have them?
think- No, I don't see it in.
We don't have them.
have? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, they're in here? Oh, I thought this was a superintendent report. Got it. Thank you. We do have them. They just were in the wrong, in a different place. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So if you see the first page, there, we're really highlighting, and it's gonna come up now. Thank you so much, Sam. And we can go to the first slide. And front and center is our graduating class of 2026. So we're really excited to show off our students there. In this picture, it was highlighted in the Taos News. And when you come into Taos, you see the big poster now with the that beautiful image. Here it shows that we had 27 different institutions of higher learning that our students were accepted to. So many more that they applied for, and a lot of community support in regards to scholarships. And I'll get to that in a while. So there, front and center, what we did with this picture and trying to promote our Taos Municipal High School is to try to, or Taos Municipal Schools, I should say, is to really highlight the front. So if you see that front row of all the schools that they were accepted to, we were looking at, from the prestigious in-state to out-of-state to across the country to military, to the workforce. So we were really excited and thankful for our students that showed this high caliber. On the left-hand side, that was just one of a picture of our state track recipients. So that was an event for our athletics. On the bottom left, we had a beautiful dance from one of our teachers, Miss Rosalinda. And she did an amazing job that night for our bilingual seal. And then to the right-hand side, we wanted to highlight the two students that we had in our grads program. So those are the mothers with their children. So walking across the stage with their babies. So that was quite an honor as well. The next slide that we're going to go to really talks about our student achievement. So we had an increase when we're looking at short cycle assessments. We're looking at our iReady. And our goals were to increase. And like Principal Martinez was talking about when we first started, the high school had very limited, even scores, not even so low, but limited to be able to have some data to compare to. And now just with this year, when we're looking at the scores between our beginning of year and end of year, we're looking at least a 10% increase. And that's just on a short cycle assessment with our iReady. The two areas that our students really grew in were those that were on or above grade level, and those that were 2 grade levels and below. So those were the two areas. The on or above, at least they had an 8 to 10% growth, while the ones that were 2 grade levels and below, they showed the most growth at about 12%. The areas that didn't grow as much were our juniors, because we set up our testing, because our juniors are taking the science assessment, they're taking the PSAT. So this came kind of third in the line of assessments. So those were prioritized for them, which showed great results as well. So if you look at the next bullet, our AP, our advanced placement, the number of students that we tested were 116, not number of students, but those were the tests that the students took. And then our scores will be available in July. Our SAT, our average score is about 871. Last year was higher, but it's still above the state level, but below the national level. This year, I presented that our Gear Up program supported us with a boot camp, which was a 2-day camp for all of our juniors. And then they provided us with also the language, the books, the study guides, all these things. So we're at the very beginning of starting for that test prep for our students to really excel in those areas. We had 21 students nationally recognized for the PSAT. So that's our sophomores taking the pre-SAT, and that's a recognition where they're scoring above. And that test right there gives you some really good indicators for pre-AP courses. So I think as a district, we're really hoping to be able to implement the PSAT, because you can do it grade 8, 9, 10, and 11. And that way, that's a really solid indicator for our students to be able to advance their testing ability and their knowledge and awareness of the test. Our local scholarships, and Miss Naomi was spearheading our local scholarship night. Our community granted our students $350,000 in local scholarships alone. We were in the millions when it came to colleges and the offerings that students got to attend their college, and we were very fortunate for that. We go back to our grads, our students. So both parents, as I mentioned, and were pictured, graduated. And then we had a really great visit, and I added this. You won't see it at the bottom of your page, but it's on my screen. It's we had an Air Force JROTC visit on Monday. Our our district directors and administrators were there, and we were able to tour the site, kind of very sell, much so our school in regards to hosting a JROTC for the Air Force. So we were very excited for the opportunity, and it looks like we had met with another military entity that came over, and then there was I think some funding situation, and then this one the window opened up for us, so we were able to get kind of like this interview with them, and we just have to wait. So we'll probably hear about in July whether or not we're going to be able to have a JROTC Air Force at Taos High School, which we are extremely excited about. When we did the preliminary survey with the middle school and the high school, the current 9th, 10th, and 11th graders, we had over 100 students that were interested in that. And again, the focus here is on leadership skills and really highlighting their post-secondary education and opportunities. So that's something that our kiddos are really excited for. And we were able to really talk about why Taos High School would be the best place for JROTC Air Force to land. Okay. On the next slide, our educator excellence. Last week, I had the opportunity, along with the other principals in our district, to attend our professional learning community PD. And that was a really great opportunity for us to learn and open our eyes to what we're really looking at in the PLC process, and how, or really the why, as to how important it is for our students and staff members to really look at these assessments and set goals for our students, and then change maybe some of our teaching practices when all of our students are not aligning or getting that grade level instruction. So it's a real focus on standards-based learning and providing that teaching for our students. Our AVID site team goals, what we're looking at this year is looking at a freshman seminar focus. So we know that the transition between 8th and 9th grade for students it can be a hard one from a different school, but also between the 9th and 10th grade is where you see students potentially drop out or have a change in decision as far as whether or not they want to graduate or go for their high school equivalency assessment. So those are areas where we really want to support our freshmen. So that freshman seminar, that focus would be to really look at the intervention, but not necessarily say that you're in the Read 180 class, but you're actually going to get some of those skills that are AVID based, are restorative justice practice driven, and then in the areas of math and reading. And we've already, with the support with the middle school, been able to highlight 50 students that are a few grade levels below in each of the areas, bring them together, teach them the skills to be good students, and in the future be able to be successful. So that's what our seminar focus is for the high school. Our high school social emotional learning program with the student mental health, or the behavioral health initiative pilot program, it has given us the opportunity to really think about all of these opportunities that the kids have regarding mental health and wellness, and really organize and structure, and then see where things fit in. So that way, if a program comes in, we want to ensure that there's a placeholder for it. So that's very important for us to really highlight and really look at the social emotional learning program, our restorative practices, and then the mental health pilot that we're looking at. This one I'm really excited about as well. If we can go to the next slide, our family and community engagement. So with community schools, I've been working with Raul, and we pitched this idea, Miss Nisha, which is one of our counselors at the high school. We want to have this school culture promotion. So the idea that we have is really, a lot of this is embedded in the attendance matters, right? So the idea here would be to send home almost kind of like postcards over the summer to families to say, show up in Everyday Matters. This is how attendance, having strong families and strong students equals strong futures. So these are just an example of some of the things that we're going to be partnering with community schools to do, to really highlight how important it is for kids to be present in school. And that is just something that we're still in the works on. However, that is a priority for us to really, that's another engagement opportunity, another communication with our families and community at large, to really highlight how important education is in Taos Municipal Schools. And then we have been working with Ms. Margot Valdez regarding our graduate of a profile and what that looks like. And I believe that at some point this summer, we're going to be presenting to the board in regards to what the committee has come up with and what we see, or the committee saw fit to be able to present to the board in regards to what a profile looks like for a high school graduate.
Ms. Martinez Tejeda, real
Yes.
quick, just looking at this school culture promotion and the literature and language that within it is very inspiring and encouraging and powerful. Yeah, it's beautiful, to be honest with you, and I'm really just excited to hear about this initiative and to send this stuff home, because that's what we need to send to our families and to our students, reading it in my eyes and digesting what it talks about, set goals, stay focused, build your future, be here, belong here, go far. Together we learn, together we grow, together we shine. All this is just very, it's wonderful. I'm happy to see this and, anything we can do as a board to support this initiative, please let us know.
Thank you so much. And I do want to highlight that Miss Nisha, because she was one that was also working our attendance committee, and she has always been about what the narrative looks like, what our communities, what we're saying about our schools. And this is really, you're right, it is really important. As a parent, I would love to have this on my refrigerator. I would love to see something that the
And-
school cares enough to send something out like that.
An additional comment, if we could maybe expand this, superintendent, to, resources available district-wide, sending this stuff home to our elementary students and our middle school students would work wonders, I think.
And it was interesting because Mr. Raul says, well, what's the cost? Who are, you know what I mean? Like as far as purchase costs. And I said, it's about mailing it, because the process in it is not going to be very expensive. It's really taking what you have, putting it into these visuals and sending it out and mailing it. So the cost isn't much at all. And then this is something that can go on our social media platforms, which we want to get better at, because again, it's getting the word out about our schools and how amazing they are, and that this is where the students need to be. When we go to the next slide, as far as our culture and climate, our wellness room at Taos High School, we can't extend the gratitude for having a wellness room at our high school more than we have this year. Taos Community Foundation just granted Taos Alive additional funding to be able to support the person from Taos Alive in our wellness space on a weekly basis. So right off the bat, I would say that she probably saw had 2,000 visits for like the semester 2 for students, whether that was just coming in and, playing a game or you doing a circle. So when I came back from our restorative practice training, I said, this is the language that we're using. This is what we're doing with students. And I gave her an example. And she then came and said, and she'd always run it by Miss Matilda is from Taos Alive. And she'd say, how does this look? Can I do this? So she has pictures of kids in circles, just talking and building relationships. So that was so important. And we know that one of the number one factors in our schools is building relationships with our students that hopefully in turn equal higher social emotional well-being, mental health, and academic success. So a big thank you to Taos Community Foundation for that support. Our restorative community building circles, they're happening in classes, they're happening in our wellness room, and we've done them with our staff. Going back to graduation, the evening, thank you all for attending and making it a great success. That night was really great, and it was our first evening graduation in quite some time, and I think it turned out to be a great success. So thank you all for attending and making it special for our students. And then finally, our spotlight programs. Here, if you look at the top left-hand side, that is where Gear Up was hosting our college signing day. So that's a day where all of the students that they let Gear Up know where they're going to school, where they've been admitted. So, and they wear their shirts, and it's a really special day for our students. In the middle is our bilingual seal event that evening, where all the students are there with their sponsors and with their certificates. They don't have their seal yet because that goes on their transcript. On that right-hand side is our one picture from our Indian Ed night. That was a beautiful evening as well. And then down to the bottom left, we had a senior sunset, but it was really windy that night. And so it was inside the gym. So that was a picture. So it was a movie, and it was a really fun time. So that's what it was. It was snacks and watching a movie, and that's a picture of her. On the bottom left was the seniors right before they went on the walk. And I want to thank all of the principals from the elementary, middle schools that opened their schools to our students, because it was probably one of the best events that they can have. And then on the right side was our night where students received their scholarships. And then going up to the my right, your left, where they're walking in the hall. That was their final walk for Taos High School. And we put it together with some music, and it was just really awesome just seeing them and high five. And that was me just recording. And Miss Maria was able to put it on our marquee when you first walked in. And so that's what we have for our spotlight programs. And the last page that we have is our Pathways to Success at Taos High School. We want to really make sure that we're implementing our PLCs at Taos High School and within the district and supporting that with fidelity. Our main focus is on our district and site outcomes is to improve overall student outcomes. And that means a lot of different things, but we are very focused and linear in our thinking. And then maintaining focus on our goals and our indicators to achieve those goals. I know a lot of times myself, I can say we have this and all these things, but I'm like, how do they align to improving student outcomes? And that's what I needed to do. And then finally, and most importantly, is prioritizing our student well-being and safety. Always thinking about safety, always thinking about how we can improve our student well-being, their health, and their academics. And with that, thank you for the opportunity, and I stand for questions.
Board have any questions or comments for Principal Martinez de Herrera?
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a, Concha, did you?
Thank you.
The graduating class, it was quite large, correct?
187.
187, larger than the last couple of years.
It'll be probably the largest in the upcoming few years as well, because I think we're getting in, not including our charters, about 145. So there's a 40 student difference. Now that we're looking at numbers and being really aware of that, are 187. And I think the classes after that are a bit smaller.
That kind of speaks to the decline in enrollment, but congratulations on such a large graduating class, almost hit 200.
Yeah, it was, and they're just really outstanding students. So we just look for more positive things to come with them, with all of our students.
Thank you. Secretary Trujillo. Well, yeah, I think, yeah, you get some comment, feedback, yeah.
We have this thought,
Okay.
and we're kind of discussing it among us, that would it be possible to implement a GED program within the high school?
I think that would be, it would address an area where we're losing students. I know that we've lost, and I think I shared this with the team before, is that the amount of students that are leaving for online programs, moving GED programs, and we have looked into a school in Albuquerque that does have a GED program within their high school, and that would be advantageous to offer that opportunity for our students, because what we're doing, and I just sent Associate Superintendent Mondragon an email today about the online platform that we have. There are a lot of students that want to go online, and there's programs out there that make it very easy for them to get into those programs. If we can offer it within our high school, very much so like you're presenting about GED, that would be great. I know UNM, that's where it happens, but I believe that the more that we can house under one roof for our students to meet their diverse needs, the better off that we're going to be. I don't know how much financially it takes. We were kind of in the beginning phases. I know there was just I don't know if it's Bernalillo School. I can't remember which high school in Albuquerque has a GED program. So we are willing to look into that for sure.
Well, Secretary Trujillo, members of the board, we are already in discussions on how we can get that going for this coming school year.
Awesome. I think that's exciting, because it would lend itself to students that some children want to just even graduate faster, or don't want for different reasons, let's say, just for different reasons, but it would accommodate them here in Taos. They don't have to go anywhere else. They're within the high school environment. It isn't, and so we're embracing them. And just like the cyber magnet, they're part of the high school. They're part of the high school, and I think that is a good start to just expand just thinking outside the box for our students.
And I think it's good to look at the data that we have and where we're losing students and where we can possibly recoup some students back, most definitely. I think it's a great idea. Thank you for bringing it up.
Okay, Board Member King?
Oh, I just want to say I appreciate it, Miss Emmy.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that picture?
Well, you
You're a
look
beautiful
relaxed.
dancer.
You look relaxed. You look like fresh, just like Superintendent. I'm glad that you guys are all resting.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's the case, but no, we'll take it. Thank
Good
you.
job.
Well, I want to acknowledge the presentations. I also want to
Yes.
acknowledge our elementary school principals that are present. Thank you for your board reports that are within our packet. Principal Spal and Principal Cernomar Mall, thank you for being present tonight and for providing a report to the board. And just want to thank all of our administrators for all their hard work. I want to thank our staff for all their hard work. We're very thankful for our staff. You know, the staff really drives the culture at the schools, and I think over the last couple of years, in fact, quite a few years, I've seen quite a bit of increased family engagement, school activity promotion. Our schools are very lively. It has a lot to do with the leadership at our school sites. Very appreciative of our principals and all your hard work. Took a note here that, you know, we really celebrate our achievements, and I think it's important that we highlight those, but we also, you know, I think we've done a good job at embracing our shortcomings and realizing where and what it is that we need to work on in those areas. So I just, again, I can't give enough appreciation to staff and to our school leadership. So thank you all very much, and I wish you a restful summer when that time comes, and look forward to reconvening at the beginning of next school year. And I'm very happy to be able to be here on the board and supporting you all. And I know the board members that sit beside me feel the same. So thank you all very much. Moving along, we're going to go to our superintendent's report. But just real quick to note, on the agenda, we have campus reports for review. We have our Enos Garcia Elementary School Campus Board Report and our Ranchos Elementary School Campus Board Report. And item 9 is our superintendent's report. Superintendent Dr. Antonio Leighton Jr., turn it over to you. 9.1, Foundational Goal 1, Student Achievement.
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board. So before you is the Foundational Goal Student Achievement. There are 4 sections, but I'm gonna move number 4 ahead of 3 because 3 with district graduation promotions, there's a small video, so I want to wait for that to the end, that we can put that on there. Let's start with our district enrollment. What you have here in front of you is the enrollment through the last weeks of school. We ended with 1733 as our enrollment. If you look at week 20, which is the last bar graph at the very end compared to last year, we were at 1764. So there's a 31 drop student difference between at the end of last year to the end of this year. Now, our enrollment is based on our 40th and 80th day numbers that we get our SEG. However, I did want to just make sure to at least note the data difference. There is a 6 student drop from the last time I reported on May 6th to today, or for today's presentation. But I do want to note the 31 student drop difference from last year to this year. Now, having said that,
Superintendent, so the 31 is district-wide.
that is district-wide, yes, sir. And that is the difference between last year's at the end of year enrollment of 1764 to this year's end of year enrollment at 1733. The -6 on the right, that's the difference between the last board meeting that I presented to this one. What I did want to note is at week 1, September, the first board meeting that we had in September, we had 1716 enrollment. So we have 1733 at the end. So we did show 17 plus from the beginning of this year to the end of this year. But then again, of course, our SEG is based on our 40th and 80th day enrollment numbers. But still, at least we show that for the school year, we increased by 17, although it is noted that it's a 31 drop from the last year at the end of the year to the end of this year. Moving forward, I'm happy to say that based on preliminary numbers, we did clip the 90% mark for attendance. So those students who are here, we just went above that 90.2%. I know the principals were, bless you. Maybe our principals were hoping they could find out which campus, but it's the end of the year and everybody's going for the summer. But I do want to commend all our site principals and all our staff who work diligently to getting the message that attendance does matter. And so that we were able to clip the 90% for the school year. Next slide. One of the ones that I had, was a request, was to bring the district and state literacy and math data to the forefront. And so the first slide that you see here is the district's longitudinal math proficiencies, beginning with 22-23 Inter Vista scores to the 24-25. Now, what you see on the right column from 25-26 all the way to 28-29 are projections based on hopefully our goal settings, which is we're working on right now through a strategic plan. But what I do want to note that what you see here in front of you is the scores per school, the scores at the district level, and the score at the state level. So from 22-23, if you look at that column, the district at that time for math proficiency was just 2 points above the state, with Arroyos being at 40, Ranchos being the next one at 22, and so on and so forth. And this kind of goes back to what our principals were presenting about the data review. Yes, sir. I was in a rush to get to the data. No, that's good. That way the community can see. And it is available, the data is available online. The following year, 23-24, the district went 1 percentage point below the state. Arroyos was still at the top. And of course, you see the scores from there. Now, this was the summer that we started reviewing all the data. And the following years, you can see 24-25, which is this past year, we saw the district decline by 1 point. The state increased by 1 point. Arroyos is just above the state, but kind of going back to what we were talking about, the middle school in particular, now they overtook the next highest, I should say, at 18. So they're the ones that jumped about 8 percentage points increase. Ranchos being next, the high school at 13, and Enos at 12. Now, I know we're working on the strategic plan about setting about 5 percentage points per year so that we could reach a 50% increase in 3 years. So those are just projections and highlighted in yellow. And that's linear without knowing, of course, what specific results will be coming back. We checked as of early this afternoon, and the state still had not provided us with any preliminary scores.
Superintendent, so based off of the graph you've shown us here, so we're moving up from where we were previously. Well, now, we've been higher in the past, but moving forward, looking forward, the projections are looking good.
That's our hope, sir. Yes, sir. We'll find out. We're cautiously optimistic for the scores this year, but we won't know until the state releases them. We went into the internal portal this afternoon, and as of yet, they have not provided the 25-26 data.
Does the board have any questions regarding the math proficiencies? Comments?
Moving to next slide are the reading proficiencies. Using the same strategy or the same way we were reading the previous data. In 22-23, the district was above the state by 5 percentage points. Arroyos at the top, followed by the high school. Then, of course, you see the following schools. 23-24, the district still remained above the state when it comes to reading proficiencies, including Arroyos. And then, of course, you see the rest of the schools follow. 24-25, the district remained on top of the state, along with Arroyos. And then, of course, those scores right below the state at the high school, middle school, Enos, and Ranchos. And of course, going linear with the projections at 5 percentage points, that's what it would look like. Of course, will all depend on what scores we do get back from the state.
Thank you for that information, Superintendent. There was a request for a discussion on the district and state literacy and math data. Not sure if any of the board members wish to make any kind of comment or have any questions regarding the request to have the superintendent address this data? Thank you for presenting it, Superintendent.
Yes, sir. And last for my report is number 3 about district graduations and promotions. And so we just wanted to kind of reiterate the highlights from each of the different campuses, but we were able to put this in a small video. It's a 3-minute and 39-second video. Just some of the pictures of the end of the year and the accomplishments that each of the school sites did have with concluding the high school. And I will make one correction on a number. I have 185 on one of the pictures, but it is, I just got corrected today at 187 graduates.
No pressure.
And Maria, if that doesn't work, maybe we could do the HDMI. All right. Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
Smile. Mhm.
So President Flores, Vice President Spray, we stand for questions.
Superintendent, I just want to thank you for providing us with that video. Very beautiful video, exciting, brought a smile to my face. Does the board have any comments or questions for Superintendent? Board Member King?
I just want to give kudos to the staff, and the graduation was, as it was palpable. The crowd attendance, I thought the evening ceremony was even more capturing. So I just want to let you guys know, I could feel it. I could see the people standing. I think it was more people there than when we won state in 2018. It was a lot warmer. So no, I just want to, as well as superintendent, I thought it was well organized, and it was a great evening. It was great to be part of Taos Municipal Schools, for sure.
Thank you, Board Member King. I acknowledged our site principals, but I failed to acknowledge Mrs. Naomi Standard Martinez, who's in the audience with us. Two graduates from Cyber Magnet, your first graduates, your first year. Thank you for all your hard work at your school site. Yes.
Sitting up there in the podium and just looking out at all these graduates, and to me, I just felt so honored to be just a part of the whole celebration. But again, to see that that all the work that you all put into these, the investment that you put into these graduates was to be seen as they marched and got their diplomas. That's just, it's an investment. I just felt honored just to be a part, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to just serve you and serve this board and the graduating class of 2026.
Thank you, Secretary Trujillo. There was the award that Secretary Trujillo mentioned.
So one last piece is, of course, the board did attend the law conference, the NSBA Law Conference, and at that particular one, the school board, Taos Municipal School Board of Education, did receive an award for having top attendance in Region 2. Member King and Secretary Trujillo were up there to take the photo up.
We shared it with the Pojoaque School, so we get to keep it for a while, and then we share it, and then they give it back, and then they'll just do another year here. But I'd like to say that they track your attendance. It's interesting how they do this. And then you have this, you go through all these sessions that they have for you, and you have to record exactly what, put in a code that at the very end, not at the beginning, at the very end, that you've attended that class. So I take this to heart because it's time well spent, but it's amazing how you think, oh, it's going to be the same classes, the same curriculum that they're going to provide, and things are changing. We had the Attorney General was the main speaker, and he brought some really, really interesting, not so much data, but thoughts for New Mexico, the children of New Mexico, and his focus on the children. And so we were just able to be a part of it because it was inclusive, and it's very open to all of us. And there's so much dialogue that goes on. So it isn't just, they're just not pouring into us. We're just allowed to network with the presenters, with the attorneys, and our concerns. I've got the low enrollment again. I did two things. One of them was to the Attorney General, and that's on the AI. And then the other one was, what was the other one that I did? Oh, the stomp the attorneys that they had one of the last session. And that is, again, I asked the question to me since I first came on the board, and I saw the formula that is used to calculate the SCG monies. And all of the response that I always got with, it is broken. And I said, well, if it's broken, I said, it's a living document. Everything is alive. It's always subject to change. You look at it and you study it and you say, we're changing. The world is changing. We need to look at things differently. And so I posed the question to the attorneys and said, well, what have you heard? Has anyone brought this to your attention? How you can represent us in this matter? And they said, well, it's there. It's there, and it's not been addressed, but it's up to us as board members to address it. Because I did point out that we have the legislature has the Board of Finance, and they should be looking at the SCG. And if not, there should be other pockets of money, because our children are an asset, the greatest asset to New Mexico. And and there was a 50th at the bottom. We're at the bottom, and I'm like, it shouldn't happen. But again, I follow the money. And again, it makes a difference when there's money, when there's resource available to do everything that we want to do for our children, for you all to be able to be, do what you're called to do, and that's to teach. Everything else should be taken care of. That's my opinion.
Appreciate it. Board Member Trio. One thing you guys would appreciate, our Attorney General's mom was a teacher. She's retired, but his dad was a prosecutor. He balanced the two. He says, but I have to look at my mom. So if you guys followed the lawsuit, I think it was interesting with Meta, and but I said we have continuing ed just like you guys do. So that's what board member Susan was sharing with us. We have to have so much each year. So, you know, we're held to a standard as well. And so it's definitely informative, and you do get to know the other board members and other parts of the state, and we share ideas. I think it's a reciprocal, in regards of symbiotic relationship, and we come back charged and sometimes tired, but normally charged with with new ideas and initiatives.
I just want to say you definitely don't want to see the board member after hours party. It's not that exciting as you would think. Thank you, Superintendent. And thank you, Board, for your comments. Item 10 is new business. 10.1 is discussion, consideration, and possible approval of New Mexico School Board Association Policy Service Advisories 273 and 274 to be presented by our Human Resources Director, Dr. William Royale.
Good evening. Hard to follow the video, so I'm going to throw some cold water and talk about legal issues. Good evening, President Flores, Vice President Spray, Secretary Trujillo, Board Member King, Board Member Concha. and Superintendent Layton. I have two policy advisories. 273 deals with employee assistance. And you may have heard of these in the law conference, so please forgive me if I repeat it, but it expands the type of medical provider who may conduct an examination. It goes from a licensed physician to a licensed healthcare provider. So when the district has a reasonable belief based on objective evidence that we need to assess an employee's fitness for duty, including where relevant mental or behavioral health or any risk of harm to an employee or others, we can refer them to a board-approved licensed healthcare provider. So, any questions on that, or do you want me to keep going? Keep going, okay. Policy Advisory 274 deals with the public right to know, specifically with the New Mexico Inspection of Public Records Act, and it's basically clarifying some language. What that would mean for this district, we already have it posted on our website, which is what this requires, but there's some specific language. I've already talked to Ms. Gentette, so she's going to just clarify that language on the website, and we will be in compliance. We do have an employee assistance program already in place that we can refer people to. It is free cost to our staff. It's part of their insurance package. So for the employee assistance part, we'd be also using that where we provide the information and the staff member could follow up. Any questions?
Just one quick comment. I'm not sure if it's been past practice, but maybe moving forward, whenever we update policies, as Dr. Royale has mentioned, maybe we could post this to our website that the board has updated this policy in particular and highlight it.
Yes, sir. In fact, President Flores, Vice President, members of the board, these policy service advisories are on our Diligent website. So it's the full PDF versions that we have online already, and they stay there.
Does the board have any questions? Comments? No?
This is an action item.
Superintendent, do you have a recommendation on possible approval of NMSBA Policy Service Advisories 273, which is employee assistance, and 274, which is public right to know?
President Flores, Vice President, members of the board, recommend approval of NMSBA Policy Service Advisories 273 and 274 as presented by Dr. William Royal, Director of Human Resources.
This time, would a member of the board wish to make a motion to approve? We have a recommendation for approval from Superintendent Layton.
I'll make a motion to approve the NMSBA Policy Service Advisories 273 and 274 presented by Dr. William Royal.
Second.
We have a motion for approval from Board Member Concha and a second from Vice President Spray. Please call for the roll.
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
President Flores, Vice President Perry, members of the board, just to be advised that now that it's been approved, I will be notifying NMSBA of the date and time that we were approved with, so that they have it noted in their files.
And President Flores, Dr. Layton, did you see we got an email for more?
That's specific from
Joe Guillen.
Joe Green. That's specifically what my comment was that email was about notifying them once it's been approved. So
Right, but there were more than just two listed in that list.
yes,
today.
that'll be coming up on the next one once, now that we
Okay.
have the
Okay.
other advisories coming in.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Next item was item 10.2, and that has been removed and tabled to the next meeting. Real quick, before we move on to item 11 of executive session, I do have a question, and since we have Mr. Herrera here, I'm going to make it appropriate. We saw the wonderful improvements to the middle school football field. I did have some concerns that were brought to me in regards to the Ranchos Elementary soccer fields. And I just wanted to see if you could maybe speak on kind of where we're at with that. And I haven't been out there to physically see the soccer fields. Right?
Dr. Layton, President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board. Well, you brought it up, I get to say it. So I'm actually very excited. We were actually working on a project with, alongside with Taos Youth Soccer, with Dr. Serna Marmol, Dr. Layton, Associate Superintendent Mondragon, and my fellow members of the cabinet. We've actually found some funds that we had previously appropriated for softball, baseball fields. Dr. Rayner found more money that wasn't spent, should have been. So what we've gone ahead and done is we've started the process for a project on the Ranchos Elementary baseball, softball, soccer complex.
Awesome.
And this was already money that was previously earmarked for this. So this doesn't come from any other pot. We're not taking from somewhere else. This is something that was already set for. In regards to the field as its current state, we do not man the current Ranchos Elementary fields. Those were taken over by Taos Youth Soccer. I've talked with Mr. Backer, who's partnering with us on this little endeavor there at Ranchos Elementary. He explained to me that our fields had gone a little dry because they hadn't watered them due to some mechanical difficulties with their landscape company that they were using. But also on top of this, and we'll be presenting this at the next board meeting, we are going to be taking over the landscaping with our current company of Ranchos Elementary due to the fact that, one, we don't want that to ever happen again, and they weren't being bad stewards or anything. It was a mechanical difficulty, but they already put the money in to fix it. It's fixed now. The water system is back up. Mr. Backer assured me that they're watering plenty. So hopefully by the end of this summer, we'll actually, or in July, I'll be able to present to you guys an artist rendition or architectural rendition of the possibilities of what we could have at Ranchos Elementary. We're hoping to make it a hub for not only soccer, but youth baseball. As you all know, right now, there is no fields in Taos for youth baseball. Our Taos Little League, I believe, is 6 to 8 teams. That includes softball and baseball, boys and girls. That's 15 to 20 kids per team, and that doesn't include the outlying organizations such as SWAC, which supports the local youth. We have no place for them to practice, similar to what we did with our basketball situation. You all allowed, and Dr. Layton allowed us to open it up to the youth basketball again so that we could start helping these children out. We're going to do the same thing with baseball and soccer. So hopefully, and again, Taos Youth Soccer really wanted to partner with us on this, and Mr. Backer was a big part of that in helping us to see a vision for Ranchos Elementary.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. I don't want to dive too deep into it because it wasn't an item on the agenda, but just, we get together here, try to keep business public, and wanted to just ask that, and we'll look forward to an update and presentation. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. Item 11 is executive session. 11.1 is pursuant to Section 10-15-1H7 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act to meet with legal counsel to discuss pending or threatened litigation, specifically Jane Doe 1 versus Taos Municipal Schools et al. Number 120CV01041SCYJHR. And item 11.2 is pursuant to Section 10-15-1H7 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act to meet with legal counsel to discuss pending or threatened litigation, specifically Jane Doe 2 versus Taos Municipal Schools et al. Number 122CV00590KWRJ. At this time, it is 7:32 p.m. I would like to make a motion to enter into executive session.
Second.
Got a second from Board Member King. Call for the roll.
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes. The board has exited executive session. It is 8:03 PM. I would like to make a motion to exit executive session. Can I get a second? Got a second from Board Member King. I'll call for the roll.
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes, for the record, the board entered into executive session at 7:32 PM to meet with legal counsel pursuant to section 10-15-1H7 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically to discuss pending or threatened litigation in regards to Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2 versus Taos Municipal Schools. No action taken. The board was updated on the pending litigation. That's all I have. At this time, we will move on to item 12, which is future topics. Does the board have any items? I know I had some brief discussion with the board member King, and I would like to, and I think if he wants to elaborate on a little bit further, Superintendent Lay, and I did want to see if we can follow up with some conversations that the board had regarding the establishment of the foundation. And then also to, I'm not sure how we could fit this in, but continue the discussion about teacher housing. And then I also wanted to ask if we could get the bond implementation committee a meeting scheduled, or if maybe you could just advise us to kind of what the next steps would be for that.
President Flores, there's a meeting scheduled tomorrow.
Okay, well, thanks for reminding me. What time?
It's at 3:30, sir.
Okay, there we go. Thank goodness I asked.
And members of the board, just so that you're aware, it is going to be streamed as well. And the agenda follows our diligence, so that way the community who entrusted us with this GEO bond has the information at them, for them.
May I ask a question? What is on the agenda? Why would your meeting to discuss what aspect?
So
Please.
I'll bring up the agenda that's
Thank
online
you.
so I can read it directly.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So one of the things I can tell you is that we're waiting tomorrow. PSCOC does finally meet, and we should be able to get an update on our matching state funds. But on the agenda is the meeting minutes from the May 1st meeting. We will then provide new business on the bond sale update, the PSCOC update, depending on what they have in their meeting that morning, and the review of the bond priorities that we promoted to the community. And then that's it.
The board
Thank you.
have any future topics? Yeah, Board Member King, I'm not sure if I touched on exactly what you had relayed to me, if maybe you wanted to elaborate.
Yeah, those two for sure. And regards of, like I shared in the board meeting, the third graders reading at grade level in the district, something, maybe we can look at our expectation, obviously with community input with our CES. That's something of a board policy that we, how do we put that in our strategic plan of having, all third graders reading at grade level? And it's something, what is our policy regarding social progression? We really have to be careful about that. I don't think we do anyone a favor of passing kids who aren't grade level. We do, this community member research talked about Mississippi, and we know they've moved up substantially on the state level. All the states, testing, summer school, and if those aren't happening, then you retain the kid, because obviously I believe that it may be something that's painful, but it may save the kid for life being able to function in society.
Vice President Spray.
I concur 1,000% on that, and I think not just reading, but math also. And that we take more responsibility in the outcomes that we're seeing.
Well, I don't know, we haven't done a workshop at the board. Maybe this is something we look at this summer of trying to, Superintendent, you did get, Mr. Chavez's community input. Maybe you can share that with us. Maybe we can then see how we put that, so we can really implement that this coming fall, because it's I hear it in high school and that's too late,
We all got the information from Mr. Chavez, and I believe he wants us to set a date to move forward. Are we going to do that tonight? Or not?
We can, it's up to the board. You'll have what available.
What are we looking at? You want to give us some dates, Superintendent?
Well, it's, winds up being the other way around, if we can, so, let me give you
We have
some,
something next week, obviously.
correct, and it has to be noticed, of course. And part of the process is that we do have a SOAR, a meeting with now district personnel to provide that input so that we can continue with the workshop. So looking at potential dates, there's a calendar next week. Let's see,
Do you mean to meet with Mr. Chavez?
the work session, correct?
Yes.
The next step. So, I'll be meeting with district personnel now. We'll be meeting with, CES on the 18th, which is the same days that we have our special board meeting that evening. So we have the following week, board meeting on the 24th. So it'll
We have a
depend.
board meeting on the 24th?
Yes, that is our regular board meeting. So
Did
there's
it
a,
say the 23rd in the agenda, or did it
No,
say?
the
the-
24th.
It does, okay.
and so there's dates from the 22nd, 23rd, 25th.
Is that going to be at 6 o'clock?
That is a regular board meeting. Yes, it's at 6 o'clock.
Well, to do a workshop you're talking about?
No, on the 24th is our regular board
Right.
meeting. But I'm saying is that the 22nd, 23rd, 25th are available dates. And then, of course, I have to now cross-reference with Mr. Chavez, whatever dates y'all solidify.
How about if can we do it in the beginning of July?
I will be out of town, out of the state
For how long?
for 2 weeks. We're off. Yes, we're on break.
I'm good on the 22nd.
What day is the 22nd?
That's a Monday
Tuesdays are better.
or Tuesday.
I could do the 23rd.
Let's do 20.
And is,
And I'll check with David to make sure, to see if he's
what
available.
time would you guys like to have that meeting? If,
How many at 5 or 4:30? 5? They do a couple hours there. Let's do 5 to 7.
5 to 7?
Yeah, we should be done.
Okay, tentatively, could you get back to us right away? And maybe we can, if we have to, we could
Are there
pick the
any other
22nd.
potential, alternate dates that we can solidify?
I
right
could do
now?
the 22nd or the 23rd, and then I can't do the rest of the week.
And then you do?
22nd or 23rd.
So I won't be available the 23rd. I have a town council meeting.
That's
But
right.
if the board, has the majority, please proceed to meet. And then I won't be available, the rest of the week. And I will advise the board that I won't be here physically for the June 24th board meeting, so I will need a virtual link, to that meeting. I will be attending virtually, but I won't be physically. here the
Okay, so
24th.
then can we do it on the 22nd? Can you do it on the 22nd?
5?
Let's do the 22nd, because then you can come.
Yes, if that board's, okay with that, I'd be happy to be here and have full confidence that if I'm not here, you guys will conduct business. I don't know if you'll be on your best behavior, but
We definitely not. When you're gone, we always have a lot of fun.
I guess shoot for the
Time?
22nd at 5.
5 to 7.
Okay,
I'll check now with, Mr. Chavez and get back with the board.
okay. So item 13 is upcoming Taos Municipal School Board meeting. So the board will conduct a special, board meeting on June 18th What is the start time for that? Okay, that, we will be starting at 4:30 PM on June 18th
At 4:30?
at 4:30. And our regular
Throwing that
school
away.
board meeting is scheduled for June 24th at 6 PM here at the boardroom. Item 14 is adjournment, so move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a second from Vice President Spray. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Right, we're out of here, 8:14.